Welcome everyone to the Break Knyte podcast, where we just have long-sitting conversations and break into the minds of my guests and myself, and we talk toys, movies, comic books, and all the stuff just like that, but especially creativity. I am Craven Knight, and I am a maker of props and customizer of action figures, the type of stuff that I love to do. But with me is my co-host and my buddy,
Sean Iredale, the man with the master plan who runs Amberland Studios, along with my cohort and guest today, Tyler Hansen. Say hello, Tyler.
Hello.
Welcome to the podcast, Tyler.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So your first time having a guest, having a third person. It's my first time actually having more than another single person on, like being able to talk to them on a podcast.
We like threesomes.
Yeah, and on the cool little microphone that I have, it has so many functions. One of them
so
being
many functions.
Around just a circle option where it catches everyone equally in a round robin, or it does like across the way like I've done with Sean. So it's actually nice to actually use that function, so it's nice and fresh. So thanks for popping that cherry.
Yeah, we're just testing this out for the chicks.
Yeah,
when we invite the chicks.
It's all the chicks.
Chicks. By the way, if there's any chicks listening, I will be very surprised.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, they're probably not anymore. Man.
Yeah, let's be fair.
I'm in for a talking to if my girlfriend listens.
Yeah. Oh man, quick side note. Lewis and I went to Dick's Last Resort.
Oh yeah.
What was that? A week ago? We
went there it was a week ago. Last
about
Saturday.
A week ago. A friend of mine, Lassie, was working there, and she hooked us up, and it was ridiculous. So if any, we drew penises on our fucking bibs.
Well, you drew penis on your bib.
Yeah,
you drew your.
I don't know.
Drew your accurate interpretation in your mind of what your dick looks like on a big ass piece of paper.
Yeah. Okay, look, guys. Let's just be fair here. It was all in good fun. It's Dick's Last Resort. Everybody loved it. There are kids at that restaurant. I guess I shouldn't have done it, but whatever.
Yeah.
Good times are good times. So let's just hop right into it. How you guys
for sure.
feel? All right. So, Tyler, introduce yourself to the masses, my friend. What do you do?
Let's see. I'm the managing director at Amberland Studios.
Oh, what?
Yeah, that basically means like everything Sean doesn't do, I get to do.
Yeah.
That explains
wow.
This explains the fancy shiny silver suit and tie you're wearing.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, clearly. God, man.
I'm the face man.
Yeah.
That's what I do. I'm also an author, a writer of many a comic script as of recently.
Yes, indeed.
I don't know, what else do I do?
You drink coffee, you smoke cigarettes, you live writing.
Yeah,
you are the writer stereotype, at least the one from the 90s and
early
before.
30s.
I imagine
messed up hair, sunglasses, convertible. That's my
I imagine you are using an old-fashioned typewriter every single time and have the cigarette.
Okay, we got some unfortunate.
Correct.
We got some unfortunate news for you, Craven. He actually does do that.
That is fantastic. I love it.
I remember one day I saw him typing on that thing. He had like 50 pages of script actually typed. And I'm like, dude, just do it on a computer.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, why?
What's the point?
You have no idea how much aggression you can get out when you're slamming keys.
It's like you can't add any more noise to that, so why not just hit it as hard as you can?
Exactly.
This is very
like I understand the appeal of like drinking and writing when you're just you can just freak out on the keyboard and it's not gonna
ends up becoming an art performance.
Yeah.
It's some dramatic music behind you.
It's like you're a part of Stomp, but it's with your fingers,
right?
And you're trying to get text out.
One-man show, Tyler on stage, just hitting a typewriter with his fingers.
And you just Hunter S. Thompson to yourself the whole time.
You know, I bet that could outperform some of the bands I've played in my day.
Yeah,
so,
that's fair.
Know?
That's fair.
Yeah. So I just got to say, where did it all start for you as far as being a writer and getting to where you're at right now?
Yeah.
What got you this fancy silver suit?
Well,
He's not wearing one.
I've always kind of been a writer. I just, for random ideas that came to me, not really for anything. And, I had a really cushy job, was making quite a bit of money, had, pretty much everything taken care of. And I started to have pretty bad anxiety attacks.
Yeah.
And I made the decision that I wasn't going to work for anybody else anymore. Was in a position to sell off a bunch of shit and take a chance of being a writer, and it actually paid off.
Hey.
Just taking some sacrifices. That just kind of makes me think, because like my job that I work at now, I even back then, I have so much time there. I never suffered anxiety attacks outside of that place. And I didn't know I was having anxiety attacks, and I was just like really shaky, and I always thought it was like fear or something, but I think it was just me just getting very anxious, shaky. And the only thing that calmed me down was Pepsi and Lay's potato chips for some reason. But I kind of relate to that, because I'm kind of in that place right now where like I'm trying to sell stuff to build my business with the Break Knyte Props stuff.
And like that's the first time I ever had one, I thought I was having a heart attack.
Yeah.
And
Same. I had a similar.
Yeah. And it really is. I think it's something, I don't know, maybe it's artists, maybe it's just people of a certain mentality. When you get into that pressure of I'm trying to do this, and it's the job that ends up being the most stressful thing. Yeah. Yeah.
You sing into the choir. I'm
telling
you. That's me every day now.
We have this segment that we're soon to create called "What Bothers Craven." What's Craven his night? I don't know. But I swear every week we're getting bamboozled by stress. Yeah. But hey, man, we're human, and
speak for yourself.
This past
I'm sorry,
week,
you reptoid.
Well, this past week, I did a experiment with myself because where I work, nothing makes sense. And it's typical in the retail world where nothing makes sense because you have all these corporate people making decisions that you'd think never worked a day in their life.
Yep.
So, but this week, because the area that I work in, everything's just kind of flipping and changing in a way that makes absolutely no sense. But the store manager is expecting regular, everyday, routine stuff to get done on top of this, which is not possible at all. If you were in where I work, you totally understand. If you maybe have a clue, then you know. But really, what the thing is that I flipped out. I kicked over a garbage can. I threw some stuff, and I got really angry, and then I was just like really pissed off the entire day.
And see, I think that's the big difference between not just working in retail, but working for retail or any job, and then working for yourself. Mm-hmm. Like, there have been times...
You can throw things through your own window.
You can break your own stuff and deal with it.
Or you have to pay somebody else to break their window.
In working in the studio, there's times where I'm just like, this seems impossible. Mm-hmm. But, instead of it being passed down from somebody who doesn't know what they're talking about, it's more like, well, I kind of have to make it possible now, there's really no choice, so...
Right.
I mean, there's stress here. Trust me, there's more stress in doing this.
Stress is always going to be a part of it, no matter what. But at least it's
whenever anything becomes your job. It's second nature.
Yeah.
But when you put it on yourself, it's a lot different. I think
because it's not that added pressure of somebody on top of you just sparking orders and expecting unrealistic. Results and all that.
Also, throughout the history of this young history of this podcast, you're going to learn that Craven is also Bane.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, I'm supposed
because
to crack your back.
because he is Jesus. When he talks about his rage, ladies and gentlemen, he does not kid. He will throw and break things.
No, I've lost my mind. I blew up at one of the guys that works in the back room. Not really yelling at him, more just yelling because I was pissed off about everything. But I was yelling at him just because he kept harassing me about stuff that the store manager was harassing him about. But just to finish my retail nonsense throughout the week, it was mainly I switched my mentality. I rebooted my mentality of just like, because the reason I get so angry is because for some fucking reason there's a part of me that cares about getting stuff done and doing and making sure things are done correctly.
Hey man, I've worked for some passionate chefs, so I know exactly what the fuck you mean.
And I don't really want to care because it's that stupid job. But the thing is, it's just I have a strong work ethic.
Yeah,
and that's what keeps me going. Is I have a strong work ethic. But I had to pretty much change my mentality to just like, I don't care. Yeah. I don't fucking care anymore. Like, if they don't care, why the hell should I?
It's funny because at my day job, it is the same thing. I recently brought this up to one of my good friends that works there. We were talking about how the best employees are the ones that are numb to giving a shit and when not to give a shit. It's like an art form to really just, I don't care, but I care, And
I think that's where I've kind of always been at, where it's like, I don't care. Especially when I leave the job, it's like, I don't take it with me. But lately, it's been very much, as soon as I clock out, I'm dreading going back to work the next day. That's what makes me stay up late at night, because like I don't want to go to bed early, so I have to go, so the next day comes sooner. I hate that. Like, I want my day to be that I'm working so hard on stuff that I am dreading the day passing by so quickly because I want to keep working and not have time. But this is not about me. This is about Tyler right now.
So Tyler, what do you do to quell your rage, my friend? A writer's rage, is that possible?
Man, I don't.
No. All right. Yes.
No. Yeah.
You embrace that shit.
You kind of have to
use it.
In my position, I'm really busy nowadays. I'm usually doing several different things at once. Not just studio stuff, but just life in general.
Yeah, you life and you studio.
Yeah.
Word.
And you just kind of have to keep going. I mean, when I actually get to write, when it's not like on deadline or anything like that, that's definitely relaxing.
Word, that's true.
That helps a lot because, then it doesn't matter what I'm writing. It doesn't have to be pristine, it doesn't have to be edited. It can just be pages of just, the most horrific story ever, or just like, something that just came out of me. Don't know where it came from whatsoever. It just flowed.
If anything, it's almost like fueled by the randomness of like our dreams, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like how our dreams are pretty random, just a big collage of all the stuff that we've seen throughout the day or throughout the week, and then you just kind of put it to pen and paper kind of the same way.
I've woken up in the morning with, front to back a story in my head, and I'll take the first 2 hours, just turn off all the electronic devices and get it on the page.
Yeah.
So,
So what are your favorite kinds of stories to write? Like where do you think your niche is?
Well, I mean, short stories, I love doing short stories. A lot of people don't like my short stories because like they yell at me like, no, I want more, where's the rest of it?
And that's the signs of a fantastic writer too.
Right.
Is leaving people wanting more for sure.
And anything that I can kind of break a traditional story format. Because, I don't know, a million people will tell you, hey, here's how you write, a really good story according to whoever or whatever formula no. Like, if I have to tell a story from, like, a certain perspective and, I have to worm my way around traditional methods, like, totally. In fact, I've had editors reject my stuff, like, well, it seems the narrator in this is really unreliable. It's like, no, that's the point. Like,
you guys don't see it, man.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's got to be tough when it's like you have your mentality, you have your idea, and your direction you're trying to go with a certain story, but the person you're presenting it to doesn't have that same idea, and they all they can say is that, no, this is wrong, which is kind of really kind of ass backwards when it comes to that. It's like, it's your art. This is your art writing. Like, who is this guy to tell you that like your art is wrong?
Yeah,
exactly.
But, sometimes you still have to treat it as criticism. And you have to be able to be versatile, right? Enough so that you can write different styles and get different jobs while still maintaining your own style of writing.
Yeah, and there's open calls or things like that with criteria that, you have to follow sometimes, guidelines for, submissions, stuff like that, where really, okay, I have to narrow it down, I have to actually write this like they want it, which might not be like how I want it, but I need money, so
yeah. So another question for you, and also I'm sure one everybody's dying to hear, at least people that are curious in the art form, in the form of writing, is where is the difference, or I shouldn't say where, but what is the difference between writing a script and writing a short story or a novella or, an actual book? Where does it... Because I know now that it's a very different talent to script write. And I'm, not even just comics, but, screenplays, things like that. So I'm curious, like...
Well, when I write a short story or even a long form piece, you just get it out first. It's all on paper, and then you just refine that. But with script writing, like, I don't know, it was a really weird experience, like writing my first comic script, because I'm like, all right, this I'm really not used to.
Yeah.
But being able to break up description and then having to realize that most of your stories can be told visually, so there's parts you don't have to put in, there's emphasis you have to put in, because you're essentially writing a letter, you're writing instructions for someone else.
Yes, correct.
It's
that was coming to mind to me, where like, okay, you're writing a script, it's not the same traditional way you'd probably write like a TV script or a movie script, but you have to actually write, usually you'll say that this person says this sarcastically, where you have to actually kind of write notes.
Right.
You have to write notes on like how you want that person to kind of be presented, like,
exactly,
as an image in the comic, I imagine.
And then it makes you really...
Wait, who's in charge here? Sarcastically, I'm in charge.
Yes, that's why I said that word specifically.
I'm sorry. Shout out to Black Dynamite. All right, continue.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, and that's exactly it. Like, it made me even just think about stories differently, because when I'm just writing a regular piece, just writing to write, it's almost stream of consciousness. I write a scene beginning to end, like every second. It just flows. With this, I'm breaking it into panels. You're taking just little seconds of this, and it's like, okay, well, I know I want to get from here to here. What are the coolest points to show along the way?
Word.
And it's a lot of pressure to also say that's my call, and then hand that over to someone to do their art. But it's completely out of your hands. Then it's like, you have my baby, right?
Yeah.
Like, don't mess this up.
Word.
Well, like when I was listening to like the Fat Man on Batman, I always reference podcasts because I listen to podcasts all the time. But
he listens to podcasts.
Yeah,
like the rest of the world should.
Yeah,
all the time.
But the Fat Man on Batman podcast with Kevin Smith, and he had Greg Capullo and and
listen to that.
It's a really good one. But he had Greg Capullo on at separate times along with the other writer, Zack Snyder,
or not Zack Snyder,
Scott Snyder. My bad. But Scott
Snyder, not to be confused with Scott Steiner, Freakzilla.
But
Freaks in my peaks. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But they were talking about now. Because like Greg Capullo, he's like a monster of a man. Like fantastic artist. I think he did Spawn too.
Yeah,
he's done a lot of work.
I shit you not. That guy did almost, I think, maybe even over 100 issues of a comic himself.
Yeah.
You know, that is
just writing and illustrating.
Well, like illustrating.
Okay.
Like that is unfucking heard of to me.
Yeah.
And
it always bounces from artist to artist most of the time.
Well, yeah, for the big two, but when it came to Spawn, it was like McFarlane was like 1 to 50, I think. I think he stopped at 50. And then Capullo rode that bitch for like almost 100 issues. Like I grew up loving that dude. And then when I heard that he went on Batman, I think I shit myself. Yeah. I think I shit myself.
Yeah.
So
and when he was talking about
because you blacked out too.
Yeah, exactly. I think I lost all fluids in my body too. But it was crazy because when he started doing Batman, and not to mention some of the greatest Batman stories ever told, mind you.
Correct.
Yeah. Because Scott Snyder is unbelievable as well. Yeah. I was just like, wow, oh my god. But yeah continue.
No, like what they were talking about, what Scott Snyder was talking about, is that the conflict of the writer and the artist, because you have the artist who wants to put their art out there and wants to really represent the comic best they can, but of course you need the writer to really help you with that. But then you have sometimes you'll have a writer, and I think Kevin Smith was guilty of this too when he did his Batman comic. And when it comes to specific names, I always freaking forget. Right, but he did a comic, and then I think it was his friend, freaking Walt. The hell? Oh, yeah. I think your phone was interfering. Whoa. But no, like when he was doing his comic, Walt Flanagan, or I think someone else, they were saying how like, dude, I appreciate that you believe I can write like 12 pages on this many panels, but you gotta give me some space to draw.
Yeah, that's overdoing it.
Yeah, that was the thing that Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo had issues with, is that Greg Capullo wanted to do his art. He's like, I don't want your story to get in the way of my art, and then Scott Snyder is like, I don't want your art get in the way of my fucking story.
My words.
So that's why they conflicted, and then eventually they were able to meet in the middle, and pretty much they only want to work together because they work so well together.
Because that's why a lot of times you see artist and writer combos reoccur so often in big stories, is because they complement each other. Certain writers and artists become comfortable. They understand each other's style, and then you can produce like flawlessly. You know what I mean? So the same can be said with like
directors and actors,
inkers and artists. I think Scott Williams almost always does Jim Lee's pencils. Okay. Because what it is Jim Lee can go on his pencils, but he doesn't have to go so hard on his pencils, because Williams knows, his implied line structure. So, I know that this line starts here, this line ends here, and the middle, I know exactly where this is going. So, they complement each other. So, yeah.
Yeah, comic making is like almost the best example of like an artistic alchemy I can think of. Like, you really are
absolutely
like directly writer and artist. Screenplay writing, like that goes through a lot of people. That ends up being like a million times removed. But with this, it's like, I mean, both come together to make something bigger than you would have made on your own.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think it's pressure on both sides, not just the writing.
No. Well, like you're right. Oh, okay. It isn't just writing.
No, I just
there's never pressure.
I kick their ass.
No, that's not
never a problem.
Not even close. So I want to know though, what kind? Do you have any advice for any people out there who are looking to try and start to write scripts for comics, or get their foot in the door with writing?
Well, for comic script writing, just find as many examples as you can, because different people have different variations on their layouts, things like that. Find what's comfortable just for the kind of mechanic of it, and then just do it. Do it as many times until you're comfortable with the process. Because, writing a long form or story versus doing something a lot more structured, a lot more formal, can be really frustrating when it's like, I gotta underline this. I gotta make sure, this starts on a new page because, there's a bunch of different rules than just putting words to paper. And as for, anybody considering being a writer, breaking into writing, just don't. There's jobs you can work. They give you weekly or every
salary.
That's a thing. Do that.
Yeah. Okay.
But if you really have to, grow thick skin.
Heard that.
And I have to ask, when you just got started, or when you decided that you want to just get into writing in general, or mainly for comic book writing, where did you look to for reference or for guidance to kind of help you get an understanding on how to do it?
Sean.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was the first one to ever tell me, do you know how to script comics? I'm like, no. He's like, okay, and just kind of started me down there.
All right.
I think a good, what's interesting is there is how-tos. You can always look up stuff, right? You can always go online now and go ahead and look it up. There are YouTube tutorials, I'm sure, even on how to write.
A lot of people forget that we're in that age now where it's it's very much like The Matrix, just a little bit slower. Like The Matrix, where it's they can just boot up that knowledge and instantly Kung Fu.
Right.
But now we can just spend either a night, a weekend, or an entire week watching how-to videos and reading articles on everything that we want to learn. And pretty much be the expert on it in the group of people that you're with.
That's true.
Yeah.
But the advice I'd give to anybody, I'm not a writer, but if you are a writer and you have an artist that you are friends with, or that you have a mutual understanding with, you guys can sit down, talk about a story, and then just write a script, what you think is a good script, and give it to your artist buddy and see what he thinks. Don't tell him to draw it. Just be like, is this something that you could draw? Do you see that this could turn into something? And then that artist will go, there's a lot of information here, but I could definitely see this working, because a great script is going to come from understanding. Just like, Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo, once you have an understanding with each other, you'll be able to write a perfect script. It'll just change upon who you work with, but, long and short of it is still the same. You're directing a page, panel by panel, with dialogue. And it's up to you if you decide to add the action sequences yourself, if you choose the camera shots, or if he does. It's all, everything is going to be trial and error, and that is forever going to be the best way you learn anything.
And
so
I've worked with both types of artists, people who are like, detail it out as detailed as you can get. People who are like, I work better if you tell me every single step. Yep.
And there are artists that, have a true strength in style. So, that's when you pull back and you're like, okay, well, I have this, pan to wide shot of battle. That's it. And then you let the artist go.
Yep.
Whereas some guys would be like, all right, I need the details. So, pan, wide shot of battle, heavy artillery on the right, being flanked, things like that. We're talking about a lot of people on the page, or, just a few, like 12, things like that.
And those details definitely make me think of whenever kind of going to either my prop making, or even when I was making wrestling gear for anybody.
Right.
Like certain details, I would just ask questions after question. And even I'm always trying to keep this line of communication with people.
As you should.
Yeah.
That's another big
thing. I think more people, should do. I don't know if more people either do or don't do it. but to keep a line of communication so there's an understanding of like what you're doing for them and stuff that they want. So if they want something, I'd be like, okay, you want these colors, like how do you want this line? You want the border line on the side of your trunks, like how do you want the line to look? Do you want to have a slight this and that? And what I did was just make sketches of stuff. Like I just drew pictures on pretty much this type of sketch notepad, and I'll draw pictures first and then send it to them. It's like, this is what you're looking for, and then they will make a suggestion, or it'll say, nah, I kind of want to go this way, blah blah blah. But usually they just kind of agree to what I do, and then I use colored pencils and like start doing pictures. Like, this is pretty much what it'll probably look like, because I don't do much on the computer as far as like any design stuff, because I just feel like, because I have Photoshop. I paid for Photoshop. I just don't know how to use it. I haven't had time or patience to learn how to use it just yet, but I think I will eventually. But no, I
can help you.
Yes, and I do enjoy the whole like sitting down and drawing with a pencil on my pad, which I'm sure you can appreciate. But doing that and having that and just showing them pictures, and then as I go showing them progress, and as I go, it's like, this is how it's coming out. Do you like it? Do you want something added? Do you think? Because sometimes when you draw it on a piece of paper and then you try to do it in real life with fabric or foam or cardboard, whatever the case, it may not come out exactly the same. Correct. Or at least the image that you have in your head. Because I've had that plenty of times where I have an image in my head of something, and then I try to do it in real life, and it's like, this fucking sucks. Like, this does not work. This is why I've made wrestling gear and I've never worn it.
See,
yeah.
Then I gotta count myself lucky, because the only person I have to do that with is myself. Is just revise these stories.
Yeah,
but
like you read it back and it's like, that went a little bit different inside my head.
But still, even when I think it's perfect, I send it off to an editor or something like that, and they can just shoot it down right away. You know,
which
I mean, it sucks, but that's why I said develop a thick skin.
Yeah, real.
And last year, I was going through, especially the last couple of years, I was going through this stint of like trying to find myself, trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And I knew when I was younger, when I was about a teenager, when I was younger, I wanted to get into writing. Like, I love the idea of being like a writer for for magazine articles for video games. Okay. That's what I wanted to do. Like, I wanted to be a journalist for a video game journalist. I wanted to be, and
those were the days.
Yeah, back when like magazines were relevant, and like I still get Electronic Gaming Monthly, because last year I was like really not.
That still exists.
Game Informer.
No, Game Informer.
Game Informer is like the only one that still exists.
Yeah, okay. Electronic Gaming Monthly came back, and then I think it just disappeared.
That sounds like paper.
Yeah, but no, I was just getting the magazines, just kind of look at them and kind of get some references. I was just really trying to learn. I was reading books on how to do like journal, get into it and writing and understanding, getting into that world, and then learning more about it. I was like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, but it was something that I did all the hardcore research, as much research as I can do. With reading books, that's like I don't read books ever, but like if it's something I'm really interested in the moment, I'll take the time and read it. And I was reading all these journalism books, learning everything I can about writing, and it really interests me. And then I started like trying to do my own blogs on the podcast website that I have. And then after a while, it just felt tedious to me, where it's like I enjoy sitting down typing on my laptop, but do I enjoy like the idea of like writing and then not getting paid for like 6 months?
Nobody wants to not get paid for tedious work.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Is like you have to convince yourself that there is going to be a payoff and an end game to this.
Yeah.
However, in your circumstance, you're a guy of many talents. So, if you can get to the point, you get there. And such as this podcast, it's called Getting to the Point. So that's what I say.
Yeah.
I'm still a little burned that you said you don't read books, but that's okay.
I read graphic novels.
All right.
He only reads one form of media that you do.
So I started getting into reading books on my Kindle app on my phone. Whenever I feel like reading, sitting down, because I'm a guy who likes to do things. I'm very physical. I like to make things.
Yeah.
So if anything, audiobooks are more for me, but they're very expensive.
Right.
And funds is something I lack, definitely. But if I do feel like taking the time to read, I will read books on my phone. I have books that I started and never finished, and that tends to be a habit with me where I'll start I have Nick Offerman books that I started that I never finished. I even had a couple journalism books that after probably the third ones, I actually finished 2 of them, but another one where I got it, the video game one, I started reading. It was specifically for video game journalism. I probably got halfway through and never finished. Okay. But that's the case. I have a lot of books I just started and never finished.
You get a reprieve for now.
For now.
For now.
Correct. Tyler, buddy, pal. This podcast also likes to delve into the thing that I call what do you say? Action figure collecting. So I just want to say to the world right now that this is baby Tyler's first day on the podcast, and we definitely are seasoned veterans of collecting, Craven and I, but yourself, I may have gotten you a couple of things recently, and so I heard that maybe you're starting a shelf. What does that consist? What does that consist of right now? Tell the world, all right, son of a bitch.
Right. Well, you're first off, man, to do that to a guy who works on a writer's salary, that's cold.
Yeah, I know, it's cold. It is definitely
to a guy like me, that's cold.
But my preference in comics, I've always loved horror comics. I've always loved the weirder, darker, a lot of 90s Vertigo stuff.
Yes.
The darker the better kind of thing. So, of course, I started with John Constantine.
Yes!
Started the collection.
You did! For all of those who don't know what Tyler Hansen looks like, he looks like a Constantine brunette. That's it.
All right, I'll take it.
You'll love it.
Cigarettes and all.
Cigarettes and all, baby.
He needs a trench coat. I'm sure you have to have.
He has it.
There it is.
Told you.
And that just spurred me to keep kind of working in that corner for now. Sean here, a good friend he is, gifted me an amazing Dead Man.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes! Dead Man!
And I managed to pick
Possesses people.
Which Dead Man is this one?
The Icon series, Dead Man.
Yes, that is a fantastic. I don't know much or anything about Dead Man other than he's from Boston and he can take over your body and no one can see him or talk to him unless he's in somebody's body.
Right.
Mainly from the Justice League cartoon.
Hilarious.
But that is a gorgeous looking action figure that I've been debating on getting, and it's hard not to get because it's
he has this transparent rubber piece.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like the
his upper body.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and it can just attach to any figure. Yeah. So, when I was at Tyler's recently, I may or may not have made him possess Spider-Man.
That's the only way he's getting into my collection is possessed by Dead Man.
Possessed by Dead Man.
I am completely and totally biased.
You were a DC man.
Yeah.
And
through and through.
Yeah. To be honest, you and I are the same. Essentially,
unless you're talking
just
about
married
mutants,
DC heavy.
If you're talking about mutants, that's Tyler's bag. Just like Wolverine will never go away to me. He is always incredible. Mm-hmm. He just holds too strong of a place in my past.
Plus, Marvel won't let anybody stay dead for more than 5 years.
Yeah, anyway, no, it's all right. We'll just turn them into chicks.
Yeah.
Wolverine, dude. Yeah, man.
Two birds with one stone.
I'm just waiting for Strife and Cable Ida and who else? Cyclopsia and Cyclopta, probably her name, and then Phoenix Man. Female?
I kind of like
female.
I kind of like Cyclesia.
No.
Female Nix?
No. See, now you're getting into the Colossus, Juggernaut, Phoenix, the Cloggernix.
Cloggernix! Yeah.
But
Juggernauta?
Right?
But yeah. I'm completely with you. But
and then action figure wise, I added the Spectre because Jim Corrigan's amazing. He had another just
true spirit
dead hero.
Yes.
So now I'm moving towards. I need a Swamp Thing, a Zatanna, a Doc Fate. Demon Etrigan if I can find him.
Oh, you'll get him.
Yeah.
I think he's available for pre-order. As far as the DC icons go, they have that.
Oh, yeah, they sure do.
Yeah.
They sure do have an Etrigan coming out.
Yeah, they have an image of it, and it's on Amazon, yeah.
Yes. Oh, and also, your front runner from all things Diesel is Hal.
Yeah.
Hal Jordan.
So that's going to be my kind of my second leg of this action figure
extravaganza.
Odyssey.
Yes.
Is I'm just gonna start collecting as much of the core as I can.
Yes.
I have the old '90s JLA Kyle. And he doesn't really go with the
oh my God.
Sorry.
All right, he just dropped that picture of him.
July 26th is available. July 26th.
All right, we're done.
I got
your present's set.
Yeah.
Anyways, so all right, I have to. The core. The core
is next. Yes.
I need Hal. I need as many of them as I can get.
Oh, you're gonna get them.
A Sinestro would be nice.
That's what I want. DC Icons. Can you hurry up?
So that's the main apple of your eye is the DC Icons figures. The those
for the most part, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I haven't really strayed from those too much.
Yeah. And,
I really love those figures.
He's baby soft too.
Yeah. Because if you. I think you just started following me. If you look through my Instagram, I made these cool stands for my DC Icons collection. I have Superman. I have John Stewart Green Lantern, and I made these stands so they can, which you'd probably be interested in, especially when I get into woodworking stuff. Yes. I'll be happy to commission some for you.
Yes,
but
all of us.
But using wire to display these the way they're meant to be displayed.
Instead of flight.
Yep, in flight.
That's what I'm talking about.
Because I will show you my John Stewart, but I made him so his ring, because he comes with the cool accessories where it looks like his ring is shining, and I made a little hook for the lantern itself, so the lantern's kind of hovering, and he's just kind of hovering in the air with his ring like that with the wire, and it looks really awesome.
All right.
Yeah, showing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I've envisioned in my head for my core collection is if I could, I would just have them all in mid-flight.
Yes, and I mean, we're going to get, I'm talking hooks in the ceiling, fishing wire. They're going to be dangling.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is
going to
be
sweet.
At least on my Break Knyte Props one.
Ooh. Isn't that dope?
Yeah. Because the first one I got was a Green Arrow, and I got so frustrated with him because he constantly kept falling. Because they don't stand, like, when it comes to action figures, and, I have a cat, so it's always going to knock shit over. Yeah. So making those stands, I'm able to.
Bitch.
Yeah.
From what I heard.
Yeah. But he peed and shit on my roommate's bed, too.
Oh, hell yeah.
Which is
yeah.
Because he was, when he should have did it on our bed, but because I didn't clean his litter box quick enough. But I think it was, usually cats do that out of stress. And
sounds like
because
a Bendis villain.
Yeah,
dude.
Because we got rid of the
couch. Did you mean Bendis?
But I think because the change of me getting rid of the couch may have stressed them out. Cats are weird like that.
Right.
But anyway,
it's
no.
True.
But with the action figures, like I enjoy the idea of them just having stands just so they don't fall over. Yeah, it always ends up being like a domino effect.
Yeah.
So making those stands, those unique stands, because they also hold the accessories. So that's why they have an arch to them. So they have this little pocket in the back where I can just throw the stuff. Has like a little ramp, so you can slide stuff out.
The hands and stuff.
Yeah.
Because what is it? Dead Man has interchangeable hands.
Yeah,
and I
so
still
it's
have
like
those sitting
you can't
in
display them without
box,
putting.
Which I still have.
Yeah. And like some of the boxes I got rid of just because it was taking space. But no, I like the idea of just having a stand that can just hold these accessories that you're not going to display extra hands.
Definitely.
You put them away and put them with the figure is nice. So it's like, so these are made out of foam board. So, and I put the logos on them using just either foam board or just regular craft foam. Okay. But they look, they look really cool, especially for my shelf alone, and using the wire and hot glue. So it's kind of cushion on the side. Being able to display flying, figures or characters that are supposed to be in flight is like, it's perfect.
It is.
This is a whole new
realm
aspect too. And so everything you guys are, I'm just kind of taking notes over here.
Boy,
because
we know we know that you know how to use a pen.
And I'm a huge Batman snob. And when I was making the stands, when I was making the stands, I did Superman first because Superman is not my favorite. So I was like, if anyone's going to come out shittier...
Heresy! Heresy!
If there's going to be the first one, it's going to be the Superman one.
I'm the Superman fan here.
But then there
Foundation must be built on something.
Cow.
But then there's the Flash figure that comes with his Lightspeed treadmill, and I made his specific for...
Yes, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Too sick.
And the stand accommodates to that little treadmill. But the Batman one, I had to go a little above and beyond and make a bat signal for him to stand on.
Dude. Yes.
Which actually lights
above and Batman Beyond.
Yeah.
Now,
the stand isn't perfect. I just kind of went through it really quickly, but it was my second version of one that I did. But... overall, I probably would have done it a little bit differently. But no, I think when it comes to stands, it's nice to have stuff like that.
And like we said, trial and error, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So, if at any point, if you can, Craven, if you can add gunshots to this sample right now, because...
I'll find it.
Here comes the shoot right now.
Uh-oh.
I'm shooting right now. I'm shooting. Wait, hold on. There's
my
more
lineup.
Show and tell.
And, Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And the Stay Puft Marshmallow.
He got the...
Yep.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
So, this is where we dub in the bullets because I'm taking a shoot. Mezco did something fucked up, and I am very upset right now.
Oh, my God.
So, real quick... Mezco released a pre-order for a special edition classic Punisher that's white and black that is the shit. This thing is fucking dope. I've been waiting for it for a while. And there was no notification of a pre-order to my understanding, but it was only to 400 copies of this figure, or the limit to 400 pieces. So, yeah. And I was excited, and I wanted to maybe throw up my own pre-order on that. No. And no. He's wearing all white. Here, I will just type in special edition.
Oh, special edition.
Classic.
I'm just trying to get a photo reference for myself, so I know what he's talking about.
But a bunch of people complained because a lot of scalpers were buying a ton per buy. Okay. They were limited to 400, and some guys were buying like 10 a piece.
Yeah.
And that's 10 a piece. I get it. It's an investment. I get it. Mm-hmm. But to your casual collector and your fans, it's really screwed up because if you don't limit, say 2 or 4 per household, people that actually wanted the figure that just wants one of it can't get it because there are 5 guys that are buying 10 a piece, that really limit the amount of people that can get them.
That just shows that that's a company that thinks about the sales and doesn't think about the fans.
I think they're new. I think they're relatively new to this, though. I'm going to give them some time. I'm sure. I'm sure they're hearing back.
Because Mezco is that a newer brand?
Well, Mezco's been around for years, if I'm not mistaken. But this 1/12 scale stuff, they're brand spanking at like this type of hybrid. So when I found out that was going on, a lot of people were really upset about it, especially some friends of mine. There's 3 versions of the figure. There's the regular one that's coming out. There was a deluxe version that came with a duffel bag filled with 100 guns, and a trench coat, cool shit like that. But this one is the only one, and they're specifically tailored and sculpted different. So this one has different pouches. It's painted. He's got the white boots, the white gloves, classic, but it's a rendition of it. Mm-hmm. So, he's got a big white belt and white suspenders that have pouches and shit. It's just really cool when you check it out. And it's just kind of screwed up that the rest of the world can't get it.
So that's why, That they did it is just everyone else is buying it, so you can't get your hands on it.
Yeah, it's just they just. I'm sure from now on they'll probably put a better limit on their pre-orders. Yeah. Storm Collectibles actually just released out of the goddamn blue that they're doing an NWO Hulk Hogan.
I saw that. Yeah.
That's 1/12 scale. They have one that's 1/6 that went up. That was only to I think 500 pieces. But they're also doing one that's 1/12 scale that comes with just the same amount of shit, and it looks awesome.
That's awesome.
And so I just
like I see these like SH figure arts coming out with like The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'm just like, man, if I was still a wrestling fan,
to be honest, like, they don't look good. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I keep looking at them. I saw the Triple H. I saw the Austin, and I'm just like, these kind of look like butt.
Yeah.
I don't want this butt on my shelf.
Do they come with just like one head sculpt, or do they come with multiple?
No. Like Austin has like a beer drinking one and a closed one, but it doesn't look like Austin when you actually see the figure in
always
hand.
Bugs me. Like I think my least favorite wrestling figure was always one with like their mouth open.
Yeah,
it's always stupid. Like whenever.
Yeah. But he has an interchange. At least it's interchangeable.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just that neither of them look like Austin.
No,
they look like half like Jason Statham.
Yeah, they just being able to have an action figure like that's articulated that way, it's like that's a wrestling figure I've always wanted.
Yeah, and they come with like part of a ring and like a bunch of stands.
So you can build a ring.
Yeah, stands that you can pose them in their shit.
That reminds me, because they had a series of like back when Jack Specific had it. They had a series of figures that would come with pieces like that.
Yeah, they would
build a wrestling.
But let's all talk about the best versions of them. The bone breaking action, where when you twist their limbs, they made snap noises.
I still have a cane.
God,
that was a thing.
That made me laugh so hard.
Yeah, I still have a cane with the mask, like when he debuted and stuff. And my mother just bought for me randomly, and this is after like they were already done. They come out with the new series and stuff. But my mom just bought it for me because I was like probably 12 to 13.
Sounds right.
Still playing with wrestling figures and stuff because I enjoyed doing wrestling moves with them. But my mom just randomly, because it was like this one store, I think it was a Japanese store, that they just had like random stuff that you won't really be able to find at a Toys R Us.
Right.
They had these, all these other figures and stuff, and that's where you see like the really cool Power Ranger figures that came with a motorcycle, and their articulation was really cool. And which reminds me of something that I'll bring up in a little bit that I thought you probably have been interested in a way. But no, like she got me that can. I still have it in the box, and I was like I'm thinking like I am trying to sell it, but it's like I don't think anybody's really looking for it. I don't think it's like it's not a special figure where it's like, oh, this figure's worth like $100. Like
somebody's like, yeah, I like Kane. Oh, his limbs break.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I don't know, man. That sounds like a really elaborate stress ball to me.
Like, good one.
Just sitting there freaking out.
We found out the new way to get rid of rider frustration. Everybody, bendy wrestler toys that make break noises.
You just gotta customize it and make them look like the person you hate the most.
There you go.
No, I think Kane is perfect.
But what I was talking about, figures that I thought you might have an interest in, because I've been seeing at work, they have these, because, with the new Power Rangers movie coming out at the end of the month, they have, the figures coming out, and it's almost like every single retail store is different, because I went to Target, and they actually had the single figures.
They really are.
Yeah.
I feel that way.
Yeah, and at my job, I saw, like, the 2-packs. They have 2-packs with the classic Mighty Morphin and the new movie ones.
Whoa!
So yeah, but they're not, any special. They're like the typical toys.
They're the basic ones.
Yeah, the basic toys, but they're kind of cool. Where it's like I still would get those and play with them as a little kid. And so they're still kind of articulated.
I think as a display piece that would be pretty cool. There's shelf appeal there.
But there's another 2-pack that my job has that I have to look for the picture, because after my whole eBay nonsense, I have a ridiculous amount of pictures on my phone. They have 2-packs with a Power Ranger and a villain.
Oh, word!
Yes, and at the same size, same type of articulation as
scale.
Those. Same scale.
Like an old Power Rangers villain, or
that's what I'm curious about.
Yeah, it's a different series, so it's not just...
Oh, so a hero per series.
Oh, yeah, nice. And I took a picture of each one, just looking for it, because it's great for the podcast. Here we go. So we got the Dino Charge one that comes with that villain.
Oh,
but what got me thinking was that if they came out with
don't do it
with the wild Jungle Fury.
Jungle Fury.
If they came out with Jungle Fury, that it may come with the figure of the with the character that you love the most, and that's what came to mind when I saw those.
That better happen, dude.
Yeah, because we don't have them yet, but since they do have them, I figure that like they will come out with them eventually.
Yeah, if you see a Jungle Fury one, I will respect this.
I'll take a picture of it and I'll send it to you right away. But there's that one. Then there's the Ninja Steel. I don't know if you saw that one.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I scrolled.
Okay. Yeah.
They're all dope.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
They're doing all that. It's like, Sean. They come out with that one that like I got to show it to Sean.
Yeah, that he's not going to show it. I'm just going to buy it.
Yeah, I'll probably just grab it right away. It's like, here you go.
So now would be a good time to segue into the topic of the year, which one of us has not seen, but two of us have.
Sorry.
So no,
it was in the plans.
It was in the plans, but it's okay. So we're gonna try and make this spoiler free. But Craven and I both saw Logan.
Yes.
Tyler, the man who loves mutants, who is a liar.
Well,
he's a damn liar. He doesn't love mutants.
I'm sorry,
heresy.
I have a company to run.
Okay. All right, look. I'm the guy who draws in this company, and I still made it. All right, so, okay, anyways. I digress.
Yep.
I am not fan-shaming anybody, you piece of shit. But what I'm saying is that it was really good. Yeah. Logan was very good. It definitely tugs on all the right strings, and it was violent as hell. What do you think, Craven?
I thought it was fantastic. My thing going in was that because my girlfriend really wants to see Moana, she's like, I really want to see that. And it's like, well, I don't really care. Like, it looks like a good movie. I just don't care.
Okay,
but,
heard that. So, Logan.
Yeah. But,
cool.
But no, like, I was telling
Logan, okay.
Yeah. But no, she really wanted to see that, and I was like, I'm more about seeing something where, like, people just kill other people. I'd rather see that.
It's either John Wick 2 or Logan.
And those are movies I keep taking her to, instead of the movies that she wants to see. But, but no, she was like, I don't even think I saw a trailer for that. And I was like,
even better.
Phone, connected it to the TV, and it's like, here. And I showed her the first trailer, and then I don't think we watched the second one, but usually she'll say she's interested in stuff, and then I think it's only because I'm very interested.
Yeah.
But anyway, we
good job, girlfriend.
Yes. And anyway, we went to go see it, and I'm thinking like, fuck, we can only get a late showing, and she's most likely going to fall asleep because it'd be a very expensive nap time for her.
Yeah.
What typically late showings end up being.
Right.
And we went to see it. And she was really into it. I look at her and she's like, she's not sleeping. And I knew, and once I heard that this movie will make you cry, I thought she would love this movie because she loves to cry.
It's great. It's great for chicks.
Yes.
Take that, Moana.
But no, I love the movie. I thought it was like, I kept hearing this is the best superhero movie ever. And I know different people have their, different views on it.
Yeah. I'll give my 2 cents after.
Yeah. And like, I wouldn't say superhero movie ever because it's hard to view it as a superhero movie, but it's a very emotional and grounded story that was just pretty much spot on. That you think that if mutants existed, like this, and I think that's what the idea of the movie was, is that this all is happening in the real world. And the X-Men movies that we've seen have all been stuff that, it's pretty much what exists in their world too. Is that it's all happened. They're making up these stories. And none of this happened like this. Because like every other word out of Logan's mouth is fuck. I fucking loved it. And I was like, they're really throwing a lot of fucks in this. And it's like, and that's when the idea hit me. It was like after his fourth fuck, I realized that
this is gonna be a different movie.
Yeah, it's like no, this is different. This is
so
many fucks.
So funny we bring this up because I'll never forget this headline. It was posted on my Facebook. I forgot what the fuck. It was either like Comic Book News or Nerd Reactor or something, where it's half clickbait. Where they're like, new trailer for Wolverine. But this headline was like, new trailer for Wolverine really brings the fuck. And I was just like, yeah, okay. They bring in the fucks. Yep. Yeah. So I
they have a lot of fucks and they're giving them all to you.
And they're giving them all to you. Let me tell you. But yeah, I thought that movie was really good. acting performances, I think, made the movie more than anything.
Yeah.
It was...
That's what it was really relying on, not so much... Which I really love the fact that it wasn't so reliant on CG. Even the times where you see his claws come out, it's like, it's kind of out of frame in the sense that, like, they just, like, extra... throw his claws on his hand so he can bring it up.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. Well,
like
I mean, and we're also comparing this to like fucking Wolverine Origin, right? Probably the worst, one of the worst films ever made for in that franchise.
Yeah.
So
and I think it was because of that movie I didn't see The Wolverine, which I think we talked about that you said was actually okay.
It was okay. Yeah. You know, the funny part is it was the same director. Okay. I think James Mangold directed that too.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't see that coming.
Yeah.
Right. So I just thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Now it's just like this brutal, like Wild West feeling. Even though he directed 3:10 to Yuma, it feels like that. But man, yeah, it's really intense.
Yeah.
So Tyler.
You
should definitely see that movie.
Yeah.
So like I think for Tyler when it comes to it, like any like pre-knowledge or just kind of going like your thoughts kind of going into trying to see the movie, like what comes to mind for you?
Well, actually it was really good to hear you say like the CG is super minimal. I'm very happy about that.
Like the times you see it, it's where it's necessary.
Like, yeah, exactly.
It's not overdone thrown in your face.
I'm really rooting for Fox's X-Men franchise right now.
Okay.
I mean, it's doing really good.
Yeah.
I mean, I really like Legion. The show's fantastic.
Yep. Oh,
and that's right up your alley.
I'll sit there, I'll watch an episode, and then watch it again.
And then try to pick up
then maybe watch it again, and like, you know.
Try to pick up
on I keep hearing about Legion. I think I need to give it a shot.
But, it is. If you're unstable, you'll really love it.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I got a little dark there. From what I hear, now, I don't know where any of this stuff comes from. I'm one of those cats who just reads headlines, quick skims an article, gets the point. All right, sweet. But Fox really kind of backed off of like really having their hands in Logan, and that seems to work really well because the last one they did that with was Deadpool. Like even Apocalypse, they got a little more into it, and that obviously didn't do as well as Days of Future Past, which again handed it to Singer and just kind of backed off.
You see a trend here.
Save us.
The X-Men movies that work, Fox don't really have their hand too far deep into.
I'm hoping Apocalypse was the anomaly.
Yeah.
Or like they got excited and, we're gonna
wait. But even Apocalypse didn't really like make me want to puke. It was just like, I don't know. They could have done better in me.
And moving forward, they have so much good stuff to move into. Now they've said they're really going to move away from the Eric Charles stuff for the next actual X-Men movie,
which needs to happen. Because you don't want that dynamic anymore.
And if it's going to be based in the 90s, you get Cyclops, Jean, Nightcrawler, Jubilee. You get your 90s X-Men
you get the gold and blue. You know what I mean?
And as long as I don't know, I'm like I said, I'm really rooting for X-Men to kind of I don't know, just pull up behind Marvel and DC what they're doing movie-wise. Definitely not TV-wise.
Yeah.
Like, you know, DC's got that lockdown.
They do.
Yeah.
But with everything else, like putting together a shared universe, pushing the envelope with the films, not doing just the same thing over and over.
Right. Yeah.
And certainly not this whole thing with just like, you know, oh, this director doesn't work, so get rid of him.
Yeah.
And just do, as DC films have been doing. Just, they seem to finally hit on the formula. And I love that they've just stuck with it.
Yeah.
Like, films that people will just lace into to this day. But they still just kept making things until they hit on something right. Like, that's why I'm really on their side. I'm in their camp. I'm definitely a mutant.
Yeah. And when I was after the movie, I was talking to my girlfriend about it. I was like, this is really like when it comes to the Marvel movies, like they're the only series of movies where Like, they have all these movies, some hit, some miss, some somewhere in the middle, but they still sticking with the characters. They stick with the actors, and they're just keep going with it. And they just keep doing it, and it's not like, okay, this Spider-Man didn't work, let's reboot it a year from now and stuff. I mean, it's like,
when Hugh Jackman was going to be Wolverine in the first place, a lot of people were not happy. Now people are like, what do you mean? You can't replace him. You can't recast Wolverine. That's Wolverine forever. And you know,
I mean, how long has he been the character?
It's like 12 years.
12, 13 years.
12, 13 years, something like that. And it's like the only actor to play this one single comic book character for so long.
I think character acting, period. He is the longest reigning, like, character actor, I guess, as far as actor playing the same character.
In a movie, anyway, I'd say,
I think I honestly, I've read that somewhere.
And, you know, moving forward with that, I mean, hell, they won't have... if you're moving away from Magneto, Charles, Wolverine, there's so much amazing other stuff.
I mean...
They don't need to be so focused on, like, these core characters that they focus on for so long. It's like, you can go more in depth with other people. Granted, like, you have these guys, especially Wolverine, the most interesting. Like, well, I'm sure there's more other interesting ones. Being that I never read any Marvel comics.
Other stories. It's other really cool stuff that they've done over the years. They have an amazing, just like back catalog of stories they can tell. And X-Men has always kind of been self-contained in Marvel anyway. Like, you has been. If you just focus on mutants, I think they're doing all right without fully jumping over. Everybody's like, I'd love to see Avengers and X-Men.
But, you know,
so would I.
But right now, it's still very, you know, it's still just like Marvel. Because Marvel has always kind of given X-Men the snub for the most part since they stopped being the top-selling book. When Avengers replaced them back in Breakout.
Oh, mutant haters, man. It's okay.
Muties! But, it's interesting to see where this goes. So, I'd like to ask something from you, Tyler. I want to know what one of your favorite movie quotes is. I wanted this to be a segment, but I'm half stupid and always forget things. So
it's gonna one podcast is really hard to maintain a consistent segment.
At least for us. So
the one
give me
free ball it. We have segments we bring back every now and then.
The one I probably quote on a daily basis is from it's Billy Zane from Demon Knight. And just humans, not worth the flesh you're printed on.
Oh my god, that's perfect. I think that defines me at this point. I'm just like more like I hate humans. I'm down with humans.
So I hope you're all out there listening to us.
You humans.
Mutants.
Just saying.
Just saying, man. Just saying.
I'd say that, and
oh damn, you're giving me two.
That's about
just fisting us with quotes.
All right.
No, like that brought to mind the whole movie quote thing. Brought to mind because my girlfriend put on Fifth Element. We went to Best Buy yesterday and we just bought a couple movies. And she'd been wanting to get Fifth Element. I was like, every time she asked about it, I'm like, don't we already have it? And we don't, I guess. But if we do, maybe we have two, whatever. But I always forget that Fifth Element is a movie that, like, it's not really quotes, but there's, like, certain, like, character inflections and things that they say here and there that stick with me. Whenever I hear, like, whenever there's a commercial, I always go, commercial! Commercial! Oh, man. And, like, there was more, but, like, it's one of those movies that, like, there's so many, like, little parts that...
Commercial! Commercial!
That like was it like Multipass, like whenever that comes to mind, or there's a couple other ones, but that's one of those movies.
Only time in my life, and it was actually bought for me. I didn't own this thing. It was forced upon me. I had a cat.
Do tell.
I did have a cat. I had a kitten.
Ew,
and its name was Lulu Dallas Multipass.
I like it. I like it.
Not sure what happened to it.
She probably jumped off a building.
I'm not.
More than likely.
Better than me.
Awesome. I love it.
Oh man, there's a movie that we were watching last night. I actually ended up buying on iTunes because my roommate and I were talking about it with my girlfriend. And my roommate and I seem to be like '90s best friends, but not real life best friends. But we're like we relate to each other as far as references to certain obscure things in the '90s.
Right.
And my girlfriend, she's a little bit younger. She was born in '90, so she's not familiar with as much stuff. So she doesn't know of the movie The Good Son. Do you guys know that movie?
God.
No lie, this is the third time this movie has come up in the past 48 hours for me.
That is excellent.
Good Son?
Yeah.
That is awesome.
I don't know, man.
Okay. All right, but continue.
But yeah, the Good Son came up, and I don't even remember why, because we spontaneously decided to like go check out this house that was supposedly haunted because we were bored, so we just went out and driving to this house. It was supposed to be haunted or abandoned for years, and we drove there. It's like, oh, I guess it's been renovated, and people live there now, so it's not that exciting. And then we were talking about in the car about The Good Son. I brought it up and it's like, Jessica, you probably know about this, the movie The Good Son. She's like, yes, that movie's awesome and just ridiculous and insane. And if there's any movie that will make you hate Macaulay Culkin, it is that fucking movie.
Oh man,
I don't know if Party Monster exists.
Oh yeah, I never watched that either.
Yeah. But like, I remember that movie as a kid, and I remember certain details of that movie, but I didn't really remember specifically how. I remember how it ends, but I don't remember specifically how it ends.
Oh, I do.
Like, yeah.
Just
the whole like choice involved.
Yep, the
choice that she has to make, and
not the garbage strip club either.
Yeah.
I think like, I mean, when you think back to that, they threw a couple of kids who. I mean, I can't even speculate at how young they were, but we know they were young.
Yeah, Elijah Wood, Macaulay Culkin.
In something that dark.
Yeah.
Because that was R-rated, wasn't it?
It had to be.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure.
No, it had to be PG, because when I watched it,
PG-13.
he said, PG-13. He said, fuck once.
Okay.
He says,
okay, so it wasn't PG.
Scene, yeah, so because they're usually allowed at least one fuck.
Oh, okay.
That's why.
Oh.
But
not like Logan bringing the fucks.
But they brought you only one fuck in this movie, and then they don't really show anything. Like there's a point where he shoots a dog with this like a bolt shooting gun that he made himself, and they don't show you him killing the dog.
Right.
They don't show. They just show that. So it's a very dark movie. You think it's on the borderline of art, and I can easily fucking look it up.
Yeah, that's
it's on my iTunes.
He's on it. He's got it.
But yeah, like it seems like that's something that just they wouldn't consider doing today.
Yeah.
Like thrust these two child actors.
Oh, it is rated
into.
R. Okay,
that's what I thought.
But they're the stars.
Yeah,
that's the thing. If it was adults that were the stars and they were simply in it, but they were like, we're gonna take two kids that are like young and make them the stars of this super dark R-rated movie.
You really aren't gonna see this again.
Thank you.
And that's
90s.
the thing. Like because I searched Netflix. I remember it was on Netflix for a brief period. And it's like, okay, I'll check Netflix. Not there. I checked Hulu. Not there. I checked Amazon. Not there. I even checked Crackle because that's a free service. Not fucking there. And I was like, fuck, am I gonna have to buy this movie? And I was like, I don't want to buy the movie. And then my girlfriend said, it's only $8 on iTunes. I was like, fuck it, I'll buy it.
We'll just buy the movie.
Yeah, I'll buy the movie. I'll own it. I don't want to own this movie. Is there a way I can get my money back after we watch it? But
you can rent it.
Yeah, I could have rented it, but it was like $4 to rent it.
Yeah,
yeah. Pay the $4 and have it.
Watch it twice.
The rest of your life.
Yeah.
Versus.
It's like, we want to reference this movie again. I suppose I can throw on my Apple TV after it's obsolete.
Exactly.
But no, just how insane that movie is. It's very tense. Like I remember seeing it as a kid, but watching it as an adult is so tense, and you just hate him so much. And the thing, I think, what came to mind, the reason why this movie came up, I just remembered, is because there was a girl who jumped off a bridge in Evergrove Heights. That if you heard that story, there's a girl that jumped off a bridge that goes over 494 east and west or whatever.
Oh my god! Wow.
And they were talking about that, and I was like, that makes me think of the scene from The Good Son where they threw no one jumped off, but he threw a dummy that he made, he called him Mr. Highway.
Yeah.
And he threw him off the bridge, and he caused this huge giant accident. And and the first thing that flips over is an RV just flips over, lands on its side, and you see and it's like a solid minute of cars crashing into each other. And then when they span away, you only see about like a handful of cars there, even though obviously more cars crash. But you see Macaulay Culkin just looking and smiling, and it's a smug smile that, like, the fact that he's getting away with all this stuff that just makes you hate him in this movie. And then he's turning everything around on Elijah Wood, who's also in this movie, the other kid. And, like, because it's like he's crazy, and he's trying to explain to people that, no, he's doing all this stuff. He's evil. There's something wrong with him. And then Macaulay Culkin is like, Mom, I love you. It's like, there's something wrong with him. And it's like, he's pretty much, he's very much like just an evil Kevin. Like, you see Kevin from Home Alone, but just more evil.
And that was the exact same time period.
It was at the height of his career. Like, in this movie, this is the numb Kevin. Like, if Home Alone is rated R and all those traps literally kill those guys, this is the result of it.
I want that movie.
Yeah, it's insane. It's an insane movie.
Home Alone meets Saw.
But then, like, when the movie ends, you're just kind of like, that's kind of a weird way to end. But the thing is that came to mind in the entire time I'm watching this movie is that, like, his parents don't pay attention to him at all. So of course he can get away with this stuff. Yeah. Because, like, you just see is like he has his own shed with all his stuff. Where he has a doll hanging from, like, its noose, and like this whole, like, subplot in the movie that, like, you know, the mom's that, like, his younger brother died in the shower or in the bathtub and stuff, and it's like. And my girlfriend has really no preconceived notions of what the hell happened in this movie, so we're just trying to leave it very spoiler-free for her, except for the fact that she knows that he dies because I brought it up, and I was like, she's never going to watch it, and then I'm fucking buying it on iTunes that same night. But no, that's The Good Son is a fucking insane movie. And I'm surprised that it got such a low rating on Rotten Tomatoes, even though it's so old. It has 29%, when it's like, granted, it's like, sure, it's not a superhero movie, but like, it's a very... fickle, man. It's a very... It's a movie that really holds your attention the entire time, which is why I'm surprised it has such a low rating.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Again, like, I'm a really big critic of critics. Mm-hmm. I don't listen to critics too much. Like, I there's times I've absolutely adored a movie that's been completely slammed, Batman v Supes, and
and we talked about
that. Like, actually, I dig the movie.
There's a movie.
You're amongst people who enjoy it.
Yeah.
And there's
the uncut one.
Movies that have, over the top, people have loved, and that I thought were just, flat. Doctor Strange.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, I haven't seen Doctor Strange yet.
Oh, you haven't seen flat Doctor Strange?
Have you seen Iron Man?
You haven't seen Iron Man 1?
That's something I
Iron Man 1 was very good.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to see it again. I will close with this. A story.
Right, story time.
So gather around the fire that I've lit next to the Dunkin' Donuts coffee. Mm-hmm. I have, there's a guy I know who used to work at this liquor store. And Macaulay Culkin was in town. We heard that Macaulay Culkin, I think, was sober, or trying to be, or sober again. And then what he did is he wound up at my buddy's liquor store. Hammered drunk. This is 2 years ago? Maybe 3.
Wow.
This is recent. And, and he comes in asking for a drink. We're like, we don't give people drinks here, man. We sell
walked into a liquor store in the vein of a bar.
Yeah, and he just basically wanted to crack open a bottle.
Yeah.
So one of the managers there decided to tell him he has to go. And he made this huge kerfuffle and had to get escorted out. But I think he said something to him that was super bogus. It was very savage. I forgot what the manager said to him. Something around the lines of, like... Something among the lines of... he's like, hey, good son, I don't have time for you today. Pack your shit and go. It was either that or hey Kevin, we don't have time for this shit.
Wow,
Something like
that.
Of
all movies a reference, like the least obvious.
But I just thought that shit was so funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, that little story time for you guys.
Yeah.
I thought that was a good close to the Culkining.
Yeah.
So to speak. Well, Tyler.
Yes, sir.
It's been real. I'm mad proud of you. I'm glad you can talk without 100% hatred spewing out for the human race.
I have a lot of practice, man.
Yeah, that's true. Mainly from your father, Magneto.
Podcast made by human haters for
human haters. That's how we do.
Yes.
So yeah, man. That concludes my info. I don't think I have anything else for today.
No.
Nope. That's it.
All right. So just say any hopes, much hopes or goals for yourself as far as your writing goes.
Hit us.
I've been doing a lot of, as I said, I've been doing a lot more writing for the studio than just free writing. But I do have a lot of short stories just kind of saved up. I have actually a long form. I have a novel just kind of sitting there waiting. Goal would be, hopefully by the end of the year, I can start looking into publishing those through Amberland Studios.
Yes, indeed.
Get our first full-on literary titles out there.
God, man, where can we find Amberland Studios? I think you can find it on Facebook at Amberland Studios. I think you can also find us on Instagram at Amberland Studios. I believe we have a website, amberlandstudios.com. .com. Do you know the Twitter, my friend?
There's a Twitter. It's
we have a twit.
It's
now
at the Amber Lancer.
At the
I was looking
Amber
for it.
Lancer.
I was wondering what it was.
At the Amber Lancer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
Sons of bitches. Check it out.
Everything will be linked in the description below. So
Yes, and hopefully our buddy Craven here will join us in future endeavors,
Yes,
and we can pimp, party, and play all we need to.
I'm going to be honest, this is something I've been hoping for ever since I started the podcast, just being able to partner with people and work with people and not do everything on my own, because it can be overwhelming to try and kind of record, edit, produce, and do all that stuff on my own. So to possibly make this at Amberland Studios presents Break Knyte Props. I love that idea. To work with people, and especially be able to actually get more of this content out there, because this stuff is fun. I think this is literally my favorite of all the recordings we've done, because
we're awesome.
Yeah. Well, I think this one I don't have to edit, honestly.
I think it's
solid
we're good.
the way it is.
Well, until you said edit.
Yeah. Well, of course I'm gonna listen. I wrote down edit points so I know where to get them out. No, I think this is definitely a fun
I'll even do the outro music. Oh, Black Betty! Hansen!
That was something I wanted to ask you. Is I figured.
I knew with it.
I knew that that has to be where you got the name from.
Oh, you just get? Did I never told you that story?
Never told. And that was something I
tell everybody else that story.
Yeah, at what point did you realize this is what you want the name of your company to be?
So my really good friend Adam Green, we used to work together at D'Amico and Sons, and when we were just podunk cooks there. And whenever we worked mornings together, we would just be ultimate clowns.
Yeah.
And the funniest part was just, every day with him. He was just great human being. And shout out to him, by the way. Just got married.
Sorry.
Knuckles. Oh, yeah. Shh. Shut up.
Right.
Beauty. All right. But I remember we were trying to figure out different ways to say, Bambalam. What is he saying? Bambalam. I'm like, what the fuck is a Bambalam? He was like, he said hamper pants, and then we go back and forth, and he goes, that ambulance, and I'm like, I'm like, dude, I'm gonna name my company that. Yep. I swear to God, I told exact words. Yep. I was like, I'm gonna name my company that, and he was like, ha. I'm like, no, I'm dead serious. I'm gonna name my company that. I'm gonna show you.
And he's like, it's gonna be on a T-shirt. is going to be.
I'm like, dude, just wait, and then every
like pretty soon in the future, a podcast will be presented by this name.
Yeah.
And I didn't take it seriously. It was like, okay, yeah, that's pretty funny, but no, really, what are we gonna call the company?
Because I was thinking, because when I saw the name, I was like, that's an interesting name. That kind of reminds me, because my girlfriend, I think, either brought that up or there was a video on YouTube or something that she loved, that there was like a dude on a bus that they were playing that song and they were like morphing those together. They were mashing them together, and it was like, oh, that bitty ambulance.
And so Amber Lamps was first, and then I was like, Lances sound cool, and then I was like, oh, and Black Betty's the horse.
There you go.
So
I think
hey, it seems to work.
Yep,
people like it.
I think officially, if I find a nice little cut of it, that will be the end credit music to this.
Well, we don't want to get,
I think if it's short enough,
copyrights.
I think if it's short enough, we can get away with it. Because enough podcasts out there use licensed music, so it's fine. Hey, on YouTube,
don't
it's a
worry,
different story.
don't worry. Don't worry.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Nobody worries.
But now that we have the origins of the Amberlance title, I say
now it's a webcomic. It also comes out on Wednesdays, so you can check that out. Don't forget to check AmberlanceStudios.com every Wednesday for webcomics. If not the webcomics, some content. We'll always have some shit up for you guys to check out. Keep us on Instagram as well, because I got tons of shit that I'm drawing, and I always want to keep you guys up to date.
Instagram's a great source because you can see firsthand just the images, stuff to look at. I know that's why I enjoy Instagram. I like looking at images.
Also, if you guys haven't seen it yet, well, I will be posting today the new Break Knyte podcast background that you can check out also now on YouTube.
I love it.
You'll be able to check us out in our, true physical forms, because we look like that in real life. And just all things nerd.
Right on.
Because I drew it, like it.
Yes.
I need likes.
Yes. And of course, we would like
for the chicks.
We'd like to thank all you chicks for listening to the podcast. It's fun. I'm Craven Knight, at Craven Knight on the Twitter and on the Instagram if you want to check out some of the images and stuff. But if you want to just support the podcast, just go and follow at Break Knyte Props on Instagram and the Break Knyte Pod or at Break Knyte Pod on Twitter to follow that, and also on Facebook. Just look for all the sources. Everything's going to be linked below, so I'm not going to bore everyone with all that.
Oh, yeah. We're not going to bore you, but I will continue to bore you eventually.
So thank you, Tyler, for joining us. Thank you, Sean, for kind of help lead this whole thing while I took notes the entire time. And thank you to
for
me.
having me, guys.
Fucking beauty.
And we'll see you all later on. Oh, Black Baby. Ambulance.
Ambulance.
Yeah.